Hello, class. Good morning and welcome to CMIS 1020 class week 4. Yay, yay, it's critique day. Um, I need two things before I can go any further, and that is my laser pointer and also my speaker notes, which you guys don't get to see because it's only for me to see my speaker notes. I don't think there are any speaker notes over here right now, but it's all good. This is week 4. Hopefully we're back on schedule, as much back on schedule as we can possibly be. Actually got some sleep last night, so I'm not going to sound super duper tired for this critique video because that would be extremely boring. Your lecture topic this week is project 1 critique, and your workshop topics, if we get to it, are techniques for improving project 1. So we'll just be doing a little bit of bit mapping. From seeing some of your work, a lot of y'all can teach me a thing or two, which is great, and you guys do all the time, which is awesome. So yeah, let's get into what you have going on this week. First things first, you must watch this week 4 lecture video, and this is that part where I break the fourth wall as I talk about it, because I am in here recording this video by myself, and that is asynchronous for you. Your in-class assignment is to complete week 4. Is to complete the week 4 in-class assignment. Your project 1 peer critique is what that is all about. That's what it's titled, and you can see a little bit more about that in the directions. Basically, I made a big PDF of all the project 1 composites that were turned in on time, and you all will choose a few of those and do a professional critical critique, and you also receive professional critical critiques. And this is an assignment that I will allow resubmission for. I have not done any letter grades yet. From what I see, I don't really feel like anybody will do like poorly on it, so don't have that fear if you do. It's our first real project assignment. But it's always nice to get a little bit of critique, especially on art. It's hard. Everybody's very sensitive about their ish, and it's understandable because you work really hard on it, and art is very subjective. So keeping that in mind, but focusing on the principles of design, which are really, really important. And there's a science behind the principles of design, and it's just something that takes a lifetime to master. So don't feel any type of way. It's hard not to compare yourself when you're doing art to other artists, but it's part of the process, and it's really important it's really important to learn from others, and also be able to receive critiques from others and give critiques so that everybody can become better at whatever it is that they need to work on a little bit, or become that much more confident in going forward. And you need to submit that assignment to iCollege and Discord by 2/06/2022. So, Sunday, 11:59. Oh my gosh. What is this? This is not the right video. This is not the right video. Oh wow, that makes it even more exciting. Let me confuse you all very, very much. I will change this for you, but I'm gonna pull up this other video really quickly because I don't feel like restarting this video. So just bear with me for a second, class, while I do this on the fly reconstructing of your PowerPoints. And Control V, yay. Okay, so now I can do the really fun, exciting thing that just got ruined with all of the awkwardness that could possibly be. Okay, boom. And I don't think I need, well, I'll open my lecture notes anyway. And okay, I'm almost done. Here we go. Okay, back to it. What is this? This +3 is the magical Easter egg symbol. Just want to keep you all on your toes. This is going to be 3 points on project 2. Basically, here's a story on this Easter egg. Last week was Unreal Engine's virtual production week. Unreal Engine is an awesome program. If you get a chance to work in it, you should. to work with it, you should. This is my boss when I was working on Suicide Squad. Awesome second unit director, Guy Norris, and his son. Those are Exon suits back there, and this is a place that does virtual production. So here's your deal. I'm not gonna play this whole thing. I am gonna kind of skip through some things though. There goes James Gunn hopping around and stuff. Cool, cool, cool. Oh man, there goes the scene that I worked on the right side. Wait, hold on. They actually have it. They actually have it. Yeah. Oh, that's like real time live stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, here we go. Here we go. King Shark. Do it. Boom. Nice. Side by side. Let's get it. Boom, bam. Scrooge. Pow, pow, pow. So yeah, I got to do that. That was fun. Anyway, what I want you all to do is the first person to locate me in this video and circle me in a screenshot and post it to the class Discord at Professor Ali will be awarded the golden ticket, which is this +3. Wow, that was a lot. I really ruined my own surprise, but it's still a surprise to you all. So once again, the first person to locate me in this video and circle me in a screenshot and post it to the class Discord at Professor Ali in the general channel will win this golden ticket of 3 points on your next project. That's project 2. That one's a little bit tough, I must say. Okay, moving forward. Project 1 critique time. Let's begin. Once I get to the stuffs. All right, cool. So this was that beautiful document that I was telling you all about, that I put everybody's thing in there, and it was awesome because I was able to use Bridge to batch everything together, and it still keeps everybody's names. So when you go to do your in-class assignment of critiquing, you won't have to worry about people's names, because I was going to put those into the PowerPoint, and I was like, heck no, there are programs for that. What am I doing? So that's where we're at here. So this was just how it came out of the computer. Not picking on anybody here by starting off here, but I'm going to start with Jordan Clark. And I'm going to move over. You guys can follow along with this document. It'll be on iCollege, but I'm going to move over to Photoshop so that I can do some things as well while we do this. So yeah, let's okay, so I think you did a really awesome job here, Jordan. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna try to like only take a minute per video. I need to have some type of timer up. I'll look at the clock. So it's, yeah, all right. This is working. Some of the things I wanted to focus on were perspective and whatnot. We did have a little bit of chat in Discord, so we talked about that. But I do like the design of your piece. It's nice having this background blurred out, and it looks like this street is a different street. I am getting a little bit of disconnect though. It doesn't feel like everything in your image is all one image together. One easy way to go about fixing this would be to use an image filter. Now, like obviously everybody doesn't want to go for that design, but it helps in concept art, especially if you're not doing a lot of the painting yourself and whatnot. You just need like a quick way to make everything kind of feel like one piece. So that's one thing that I did want to show you all. I feel like I showed it in a few different videos, but I'll probably do that after I fix this other thing. Another really big thing is that this guy's foot is not on the ground. You did get shadows for me, which is nice, but his foot is not on the ground. You did also do a little bit more lighting here. I have some really good videos on the iCollege channel, the iCollege channel in the Discord for you guys about that. But you could do like a red rim light around this guy. I'm not going to be able to get like a perfect cutout of him right now, just for time's sake. So I was only going to try to spend like a minute per, but I'm already like way over a minute now. So just to kind of get in here, I'm using the mask, not the mask, it's like the polygon selection tool. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it's fast. Especially if you want to really get into the nitty gritty here. Your character was probably already on his own layer, so you didn't really have to do all this. But I'm just going to do a very quick selection here to kind of show you what I was meaning by that, as far as like getting that little bit of red on your character. One thing that I've seen like across the board just by looking at everybody's work so far is that I feel like some folks were just a little bit scared to mess up their work. and you're gonna have to mess up a little bit, especially if you're not really comfortable in these bitmap editor programs and image editing programs. And that's just part of the game, and that's okay. Like everything, this is the time to learn it and to kind of like figure out how things work. I'm just gonna do this kind of quick and dirty so that we don't have to spend too much time going over this stuff. And I just want to do just quick selection here, and boom. All right, so I have my selection, and I'm gonna hit inverse here. Should we fill it? Okay, we could just fill it. We'll just fill it this way. There's just so many ways to do stuff in Photoshop. That's why I keep on uploading those videos for you all too. There's just so many ways that you can go about doing any one thing. So metadata layer, I have my selection. I'm just gonna fill this. Do I want to fill it in first? Yeah, we'll just go ahead and fill it in. Fill in this red piece here, and I could probably like I could legit like extend this mask as well. With this, say this was like actually cut out better, or just to extend the selection so it's like on the outside of the character. But just for time, I'm not gonna worry about doing that right now. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and mask this. Let's see. Control Z here. And here. Switch this to black mask here. Hit Control D. And then put on a mask again. And then we can kind of paint away those edges, all of these edges here. Just get in here. This is, I probably would do like an inverse of what I just did, so that we were on like the outside instead, and just fill that whole page up. But yeah, just to give you the idea of kind of like what I was meaning though. I'm gonna make this brush a little bit bigger here, and just gonna go in here. I'm gonna get this guy with some edges around the sides, and get this glow going a little bit. This is obviously way too heavy, but just so that we can see what's going on. So obviously a lot less than this, but so that we can kind of just get this light transferring to your character that's happening behind here. And you did a lot of already really good work on it. I'm not sure exactly what you did, Jordan, but you did a lot of really good work to get to where you got with this whole thing. And then I'm gonna change the lighting here. Let's do a soft light. Soft light works pretty good. Hard light also is okay. You can even take the opacity down a little bit. So I changed the blending mode, and then now we got a little bit just more on the edges of the character. It's gonna look really bad down there at the bottom, but we have a lot more on the edges of the character. We could honestly turn it up a little bit, but we just have a little bit more of that light happening behind him. The next thing you could do is also have that same mask happening, darken your character, and have that light behind him be a lot brighter. And one way you can do that is by adding exposure, but we're going to do the exposure. We'll do an adjustment layer for that. So then we go here, down here, I click this little icon, go to exposure. I click this. You need to click this to make an adjustment layer, and that way it's only going to clip to that exposure is only going to happen on this layer. It's not going to happen to the back image unless you wanted it to happen to the back image. And yeah, so now we can tweak these exposure settings, turn it up a little bit. So now we got a little bit brighter red happening on our mask here. Turn it down, it takes away. Turn it up, we got a little bit brighter red happening on that mask here. Get a little bit more of that glow going on with this guy. All right, another cool thing that you can do to make it just feel a little bit more like your focus on the picture is not on that outside part. Please, like, omit all of this other stuff that's happening down here. Layers, and we are here. And let me get that brush again and brush this away real quick, because that's driving me crazy. So you got a little bit more glow. It's still too intense for me. So definitely, you know, take your time on these type of things, especially with your projects, to get that all the way right. Um, but we could get a black brush, get a new layer. Oops, sorry, I made an adjustment layer there. Get a black brush. I'm not going to take this long on the other ones, but I did want to just show this. I'm not going to show every technique every time, but it's just important for you all to just work with your lighting. That's one issue, well, not really issue, but that's one thing. It's a tough thing. It takes a long time to figure out how to do well. The lighting part is a really, really big part of concept art. So definitely focus on those lighting videos if it's not something that you're super duper confident with. And so this is really, really dark right now, but I'm going to raise the opacity on this, or lower the opacity on this a little bit. But it just kind of like puts more focus on what's going on in your scene this way, by just, you know, just dragging a little bit of darkness. It makes it a little bit darker back there. You can even get a little bit probably happening back there too if we really kind of focused it in. And it also kind of just draws your eye where it needs to be. Kind of takes me away from these folks back here and whatnot. And I'm just focused on your character, who is now feeling a lot more light from, you know, this light source up here. And you can even play up that light source up there a little bit if you wanted to paint a little bit more red on the light source itself. And what else? There's another not really big thing, but there's another like bigger thing, and that's basically just messing with your perspective on this piece too. And let me get that out the way. This is a really awesome piece. Just I do like where you're doing here. I'm gonna merge everything down really quick, even though I have some weird stuff going on. Just, you know, try to not see those pieces there, or just try to see past that right now and just focus on some of the stuff that I was talking about. So I merged everything down. Act like this extra light beam is not here, but like you guys can really, everybody can really get in, and you can change the position of your character. Like, don't be afraid to get down there with the pixels and get something like this, because his foot is literally, it's not touching the ground right now. And again, I would literally cut it out. You don't have to cut it out. You could have kept it right there, but you know, I just cut it out, and Control T to transform it. And you know, you can start to play with it, and then maybe do like a little bit of perspective, image warp, whatever, what have you, in order to get your person there. And then you can paint these other parts back, or you can take another piece of the streets to fix that piece there as well. It's totally doable. You know, it takes a little bit of time, but that's what Photoshop is all about. And it's just really important to make your character feel grounded. And that was probably like a really big thing that was kind of giving me a harder time with your image. So even at that point, because you had all these things separate, you know, components, it looks like I'm just destroying everything, but it's okay. We can always go back and edit those parts. Let's see, layer, and then merge it down again, and boom, we're here. Control Z, Control X, Control V. There's a paste in place feature if you go to edit, paste in place. But yeah, then like kind of just nest your person down here on the street like they're supposed to be actually touching, because that foot was totally hovering in the original image. And yeah, that was just one thing that was you know, give me just a little bit of a hard time there. There's a spot heal brush. You should definitely look at a tutorial about that. But let me merge this stuff down again. Control E, let's merge down. I should definitely start using that shortcut. And zoom in here. I'm pretty sure the spot heal, you have to take like a sample first. Oh no, not the spot heal. There's another brush. You have to take a sample first of like where you're coming from to where you're going. But like spot heal can can sometimes be really, really tough. Other times it'll work really, really well, but it like finds other patterns that you start painting from, and it'll like paint it out a little bit. It's like a just really quick way to go in and kind of fix certain places that aren't really working that well. I like to sometimes just use it in combination with just regular paintbrush, just to fill in the blanks in those places that are that I went and messed up. But yeah, you guys will take a lot more time with this, or maybe just really, really fast, and this is something that you can do really, really fast. Paint these things back in, fix those areas as well. Like I said, you all already had your pieces kind of separate there, but even if you don't, like, don't be afraid to really get in there and see what you can do to try to fix, edit your drawings and whatnot. But yeah, so I just wanted to quickly do this to just so that I could go back over what I was saying as far as the filter and like making everything a little bit more cohesive all the way across the board. Because we got a little bit better lighting, all that stuff. Oh man, why'd you give me that? Thank you. And I thought I was on a regular paintbrush now. I was on mixer brush this whole time. Mixer brush is good though if you need to mix two colors together, but that's not what I was trying to do. I was just trying to get the regular paintbrush and paint back some of these mistakes. Okay. So let me go over here. I'm gonna select this whole image because I have everybody's image together, so I don't have to like jump around so much. And boom. And Jordan, by no means is, I'm just taking a long time on this one because I wanted to go over a few things that a lot of people are having or just needing to know some of the strategies that are used. So Control C here. Oops. I'm not empty layer. Control C. And turn that off for a second. We'll hit Control B here. Get you out the way. And then I think I had a few office hours for this project with a few different people, and it's nice to use the filters. I think I went over it in another video. The one I've been doing a lot recently has been oil paint. Let's see about diffuse. Diffuse kind of like softens everything, but it still brings a lot together. Let's see about stroke it. It kind of the diffuse also kind of it softens everything. You can kind of tweak what's happening there. Another filter that you can pop in there is oil paints if you want it to feel like a little bit more like a painting, but make sure that you keep that scale kind of low so it doesn't like distort too much of your image. If you want your image to stay really, really crispy, you might not want to play too much with this. You can turn off the lighting if you don't want to have that on there. But like, as long as you don't have these settings up way too high, you kind of gotta play with it and see what it looks like. Then things will just come together a little bit more. I know it looks crazy with some of these edits that I have, but it just feels a lot more cohesive than it did before. So yeah, filters help a lot. I might do that on a few other people's pieces just so you can see how much it works and how much it brings it together. Make sure your character's grounded. Thinking about the horizon line, you built your own horizon line here, and that was because the combination of what you had going on here. But you want to make sure that your character is sitting on that horizon line, okay? And before the foot was kind of floating, so that kind of will take you out of it. All right, that was a lot, but don't worry, it was needed, and thank you for it. And yeah. But overall, the piece is really good, and I appreciate you going in there and making those corrections that I was asking about or talking to you about in the Discord. Going forward, this next piece was also really well done. I think I did not get super duper nitpicky with it. But once again, it's the lighting sources. You can really play up those lighting sources and try to make them match your character, just because you're putting them in this environment and it's different. So like you can darken this. It looks like this like area of the room is a lot darker here, and this area is a lot lighter. You can have this orange, what looks like lights, kind of hitting your character here. Even a backlight, you have this white backlight could be hitting the character a little bit, and it's a little bit dark on this side. This whole side of his body, you could paint a little bit and have it be a little bit darker for the light, or use another lighting method. But really fun. Your character's doing two different things. I would have your character singing, but you know, you have the images that you have to work with, but you did use the same character, which is challenging enough. um, but that's what Photoshop's all about. Maybe you find somebody with like an open mouth, or maybe you paint it. I don't know. But just thinking about that is a good way to go. But they are, I can tell they're doing two different things. Perspective is a little bit awkward in this one, so working that out would be good. But composition wise, I'm kind of liking it. This one's a lot more straight on, but it works, you know, with that one perspective. This one gets a little bit more tough just because you have to fit your character to that horizontal line again, which is happening down there. So perspective, it's something that I am always working on, and you know, you will get better at going forward. Next we have Victoria. Victoria, I like your pieces, they're really fun. For some of you, I might go and see like all the different components of the pieces that you have, but yeah, it looks like you found some good pictures. I don't know if you went to ArtStation or what, but I'm definitely digging what you have going on here. Sorry folks, let me get a little bit in there. Okay, so a couple things. I'm not sure if you painted it doesn't look like you painted a shadow for your character. Definitely, you know, do that. Even at this point, like, you wouldn't even have to necessarily get this character. You get another picture and then, you know, fit a shadow in there. um I will show this one. This is not the easiest one to show it. Well, maybe I can find your pieces. Let's see, this was Victoria. If you have, see if you uploaded your pieces for me. And this is kind of like why I asked for all the stuff I asked for, because it does help. It, like, I like to have those pieces. It's good evidence for me, with some things. Okay, you have all your stuff here. The barrel, the character, you linked me to them. Nice. It's so organized. It's good to see this. It's nice to see, you know, that extra bit of work you put in there. Background characters. Let's go here. Copy. And paste and enter. Oh, it doesn't look like I didn't get quite to the link, and that's okay. There are other video game characters here, but I didn't get quite to where your post was, and that's fine. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'll worry about I'll fix a shadow on another character going forward. That's a little bit easier to find the pieces, but same notes going on here. Just that lighting source. Your main lighting source is here, up here at the top. Okay, and like you can literally oh, lost my mouse. Sorry about that. You can literally paint that in, even if you're not confident in the other ways of painting. You can literally just paint in that lighting source. Sorry folks, I had to pop over here to the Photoshop to show the painting of the light. Yeah, obvious thing, you know, we're missing the rest of this character, so maybe you decide to use something to cover up this choppiness that's going on here. Okay, it seems like you did a pretty good job cutting it out. There are other things that you can do. You can like make a mask, and then you can shrink the mask to kind of get away some of those edges. Yeah. What was I doing? Yeah, the light. Let's get some better lighting in here really quickly, using that light source. And this is the quick and dirty way. There are much better, more in-depth ways to do it. And you know, if you or somebody in the class has like really good ways of painting your lighting in, by all means, you know, let folks know. Okay, like I said, I'm definitely more of a 3D guy, so this is just from just like art knowledge, general art knowledge, not like the technique that happens in the Photoshop, and like just really good painting technique. So this hardness is down a lot. This brush is not really the softest of brushes, but we'll just, you know, deal with a lot of that in the opacity. So I try to find a pretty generally soft brush, and you know, sometimes I'll just paint over the whole image. You could also just take your entire image and duplicate it, and then make it a then use the blending modes on that image as well, and then just mask that image and paint away things as well. But sometimes I just like to go ahead and paint it in a little bit, and then I'll just kind of like raise the opacity and whatnot. Okay, so that is working for me. Lower the opacity. I always say raise for some reason. I don't know why. Lower the opacity. So now we got a little, just a little bit more of a little bit more darkness in those areas, and then I'll make a new layer here. Add some more paint too, and I'm just gonna take the color of I'm going to take the color of this light. I'm going to pick this pretty bright piece right there. I don't know if I actually got it because I'm not on that layer. So let me pop down here and actually grab that piece. And we're going to paint in a little bit. Okay. This is really light right now. How about I put this on a different layer? I did not. So let's Control Z that. Photoshop new beneath. All right. Boom. Over here. Get out of there, layers. Okay. I'm used to working on multiple screens too, folks. So there, and you see, like, it's important to kind of get it, especially if you have something like this dog character is like right here. You want to kind of make sure that the lighting is pretty effective. It seems to be working on this side though. Like, I don't know if you did that or what, but it seems to be working a little bit on that side of your character. So kudos to you there. It's a really, really hard edge. That's honestly way too much, but it's okay. It's okay for these purposes. Next thing's next. You know, I always like to come in here and kind of play with these blending modes. The fall off that I have happening is horrible. But still, some lighting is better than not really, you know, controlling that light source. So, you know, you don't want to have these like really, really hard edges. You want to find a better brush for something like that. This is kind of falling a little bit too far in my opinion. But yeah, really using that is definitely helpful. Well, where you chose to put it works. And next thing, you know, that shadow, obviously that shadow is going to be falling. It looks kind of like, seems to me like she is behind this light. I'm not totally sure if that was what you intended for this composition, but it seems like she's in it, but she's a little bit like further back in it. And this little doggy is definitely all in it. So then you have to consider where your shadow is going to fall. It looks like his shadow is going to fall a little bit this way, and her shadow is going to fall down, and it's not behind, so it's not going to be in front. It's going to be like kind of back here a little bit. Okay. And then what else? Yeah, just we have a little bit of work that we should do with perspective. It's kind of tightening that up, focusing on where your horizon line is and seeing how that plays out to your characters. I don't know if you used Photoshop or what, but I do have this one really, really cool brush. Everybody in the class who, you know, is a little bit newer to Photoshop and have all their own brushes. I have a really cool brush. Let me see if I can find it really quickly for you guys. I think it's in here. And search it. Let me see. Perspective. Oh, that's not perspective. Anyway, in one of these brush packs, I do have a perspective lines brush, which is nice. I'm gonna search for it really quick. Well, I'm only on number 2, and I feel like we are so far into this into this class. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I get sidetracked, and when I get excited about the art stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna keep looking for it. I might try to find it a little bit later, pause the video or something to find it, but I don't want you guys to have to suffer through me scrolling for the perspective brush. But there's totally a perspective brush, and it's really good. There's also a lot of other awesome brushes in here, like trees and stuff. You want to use that to kind of paint in your images here. But yeah, anyway, I will look for that later or pause the video for that later. So definitely lighting in this piece will take it up a lot. And then, you know, as always, I always love to go for that whole filter piece. So we'll just go to layer and flatten the image, hit OK, and OK, and then filter. I'm just gonna go for the oil paint again, see how it does. It already starts to bring it together. I don't know if you guys see it on your screen, but it already starts to bring it together a lot. You get a little bit of swirly, so you want to tone it down some, but it makes things feel better. Like this dog is not feeling as super duper photo-y, and this person is not feeling as cartoony. It gives you that blend that you need. Oil paint is not always the way to go. Like I said, I used Topaz in the other video, so I might use that for some of the ones going forward. But like, there's plenty of filters, really good ones for free on like Apple products. So sometimes you might have to export and get it onto your Mac or get it onto your iPhone. iPhone has some really good ones too. You guys are on social media, you know what it's all about. Yeah. So the quick and dirty to get a little bit more just cohesion in your images. Okay. Cool. Let's see your other one. Really awesome job though. I definitely feel the mood of your piece in both of these too. Like this one feels really warm, this one feels cool. Same things apply here. You can have light coming out here, you know, paint this light coming out here, paint it onto your character, make it feel like that character is there. I do like the story that you have, you know, happening here. um this character would be lighter in color, so you know you could play with the exposure on that character, make them a little bit lighter in color, play with values there. It looks like you might have a little bit, but even play it up a little bit more. Next is perspective. This perspective is, you know, think about that horizon line. You're gonna have a horizon line back here, and you're gonna have these lines coming out. Okay, so it's like, this is not perfect, but it at least get you in the ballpark. I wish I could find that thing. Perspective brush. Brush is huge. Need to go look up some Photoshop. Yeah, look up some Photoshop shortcuts. So look this. But yeah, you know, think about that. Think about that perspective. You know, maybe your points back here, and you have these things. You know, all these lines coming out here. You know, use a straight edge, but like that will sometimes help you to kind of see, you know, where you need to kind of set everything up to get your character to fit in there correctly. And it looks like your character is doing something. Your character is shivering and cold. So on both of these, you kind of nailed that. You got your character doing two things and two different lightings. You could do an overall paint of everything here to make your character feel a little bit more in as well. I like that you have their feet in the snow. You know, you do. It looks like you pan a little bit or you mask a little bit here. You could play that up a little bit too. And you even put these snow. You put these footprints in here, but the perspective of the footprints is not totally correct. That's another quick fix that you could possibly do. Like you would want it to slope down. Like you have these hills, and it's been shown. You kind of even have some guides with these, like, I don't know, snow plow tracks or snowmobile tracks or sleigh tracks, whatever you want to call them. Wow, it really just feels like the season here feels festive. Feels like we're ready for Christmas all the way. But so yeah, you know, I come over here, grab something like this, hit Control T. It's gonna get a little bit funky. I should have duplicated one under. I'll duplicate this under. We'll keep one of these without being all messed up, and it will help to fill the gaps. I'm gonna hit Control T here on this top one. Control T one more time, and I'm gonna actually go further into the transform and get into this perspective here. Actually, I'm gonna bypass perspective, go straight to the warp. Okay, this warp kind of has like all of that. Now you still have the other footprint underneath, but you can see you can kind of bend it to that path, right? We can bend these footprints to that path. We have our whole grid here that we can work with to get that perspective working a little bit right, going a little bit more in the direction that we want. Okay, and then hit Control D here, grab my paintbrush, ooh, and then pop back on top, Control D, and you know, just paint this away real quick. You know, it'll help with your painting ability. You know, it might not be perfect, but the suggestion is there, and that's honestly a lot more important sometimes. Also, the perspective, but we're at least getting these feet going down the curve. Just a couple ideas. Just working with those transform tools helps a lot. Overall, I do like the piece. And good organization as far as putting all those together. So give it up for Jordan and give it up for Victoria. Moving forward, go back to this documentoid. Sorry, I keep hitting you with my blank screen here, you all. Is it not? No, it's not. Where did I put that one? Did I throw it all the way over here? Sorry, folks. All over the place with these. And did I close that document? I might have closed it. It's okay. The way that I set up the Photoshop, it should be following along. I did kind of like the presentation of having it in the other document, but the way I set it up in here should be following along. Cool. So next we have Pascal. Hopefully I'm saying that right, or Pascal. If I'm not saying it right, then hit me up in office hours. I'd love to chat and try to figure out how I can be saying things in the correct way and not the incorrect way. I don't like to say people's names wrong, and if we've already met and I'm still saying your name wrong, then I am very sorry about that, and I'll do my best to get it right as long as you let me know. Okay. I think I said Morgan. I was supposed to say Catherine. Like people's names on the the GSU are different than what people want to be called. So if you have a different name that you want to be called, please reach out to me. Let me know. Shoot me an email, DM, a voice message with pronunciation if you want. All right, I'm going off. Here we go. Pascal. I like that you went with the white and black images here. I do like that. I get a little bit lost though sometimes. Sometimes it's like if you're going with something like this, it's really important that you have your lighting working hardcore and you're using negative shapes. We talked about that in the last lesson, or it might have been lesson, maybe it's like week 2. But we got very, very specific about different types of shapes, positive and negative shapes. And that helps a lot when you are using only black and white, also being very, very, very paying a lot of attention to value. um so if style wise, I think it's really, really cool. Like I haven't seen anybody go with this type of style to put something together. I almost didn't even like it pulls me in a lot. It feels like an interesting story that you're putting together here. I don't necessarily know how gamey it feels right off the bat, but I could also still see it in the game as far as like what is going on, which is well done. I almost didn't know. I was like, is this just one image? Did this person actually cut things out? But you did. Like I see it done really, really well here. It looks like all these components, this lion, this dog, the skull and whatnot, this character back here drawing. This is all part of the same image. Things are very, very close together. It's like they had their composition set up in such a way that it was very tight, but it's working, right? You have this triangle going on with the characters who are already here. Guy in the back drawing, writing, and these characters here gives a nice, really awesome triangle composition. You had for this assignment had to composite somebody in there, so now you put this person in the mix, but it kind of throws off that nice balance that they had. And this could have been something with the story that you were trying to tell and why it had to happen. I do like that you chose to put this person here, and it seems like you did a really, really good job choosing. You did also a great job cutting this out. So it looks like you used the pen tool in this area. So awesome job there. And you have the lighting coming in, but paint those lights in. Paint those lights in because it will go that much further. Another way that you can paint lights in too is by using this tool here, and you can literally follow some of these light lines, right? You can follow these lines that are happening here, right across to that shoulder, hard body, or it could even go past. Well, we don't want to disrupt that. So we'll follow her body down here in those areas. And we'll just kind of extend it to over here, and that'll be like this will be some of our light rays coming from this area, okay? And I'm gonna close this shape, hop onto another layer so I don't mess everything all up here. Oh, okay. Make a new blank layer, and then I'm just going to fill this with the color. We'll do white because that's we're just working with the white and black image here. And I'm gonna fill it, boom, and then I'm gonna come over here to play with these different lighting styles. Wow, that right there, nice soft light works well enough for me. Okay, and hit Control D on that. Control D, or is it Shift D? Although deselect is not wanting to work for me, so I'm gonna hit select and hit a deselect layers, or no, hit deselect here. Okay, cool. So now we actually have light coming from that window. All right, and it works. It works pretty well already with what's going on here. You got a little bit more coming from the top over here, hitting this character's head too. And honestly, we could really bring it going all the way down. But that right there is already, you know, like you have a lot more control of the light in the scene rather than having to, you know, work out your composition in a way that is not necessarily what you want to do, but you're kind of working the composition of somebody else's image. It's a balance of both when you're working in concept art, right? You want to get there as fast as possible by using these images, but you also want to, you know, put your own style into it, put your own voice into it, tell your own story, which you are doing just composition wise. I feel like you're kind of forced into this position, but since you did decide to go that way, just play it up. As far as the bird, I'm losing the bird here, so like we could think of another way to light the bird as well. Maybe like some backlighting or something. Like I don't know, but I feel like I'm losing the bird a little bit. The tail though, I love it. It's like it really tells a good story. So maybe, you know, highlight it. Maybe you have the bird in this light. Who knows? Yeah, nice job. All right, in this next one, it seems like you got another bird. So this bird is definitely telling a story. So the bird is definitely one of your main characters here. It's nice to see that carry out between. We have these small people. Like I am kind of getting lost a little bit in the perspective here, but I love how close. I love that dark value. I love how you thought about that. It's just hard because you're competing, right? So I think that I would say is raise the values of in these other areas. I think that that would be really good. One easy way to do that is by just adding an adjustment layer. You know, masking out. Honestly, you'd probably get that character too. But you know, coming down here, grabbing some of this, about to say topology like it's 3D, grabbing some of this, good land here, and opening this up, and then you could either cut it out or I'll just fill it again. I'll fill it with I'll cut it out. And so we can use the exposure. So hit Control X. Oops, not on the right layer here. Did it again. And pop out here, Control X, cut that out, and then I'm gonna hit paste in place this time. If you go to edit, you can go down to paste special, and we can go to paste in place, and it's back there. And I put on the different layers, so now I'm going to add not a layer mask this time, but an adjustment layer. And this adjustment layer is going to be exposure. It's going to change. Like if I were to use it right now, it would change for everything. So this whole image that I'm working on, but that's not what we want to do. We're going to hit this little thing down here called clipping mask, and we're going to clip it to the layer that's right below. That's how that works when you make the adjustment layer. And now you're just able to brighten this one rock, okay? And that already is adding a lot more. It's just adding a lot more. This is honestly too much, but it's allowing this bird to be at the forefront of your composition. Once again, it's kind of hard to paint. I mean, it's kind of hard to distinguish the lighting here, but you're going to have to paint it in if you want to make this image feel just a little bit more cohesive as far as that goes, and just not as messy. So once again, it's the composition thing. Definitely look up composition for yourself here. I think that would take you a long way. But as far as the ideas go, it's interesting. It's very interesting, and not composition in a bad way, but more so maybe like blurring some of this stuff too. I don't know. It's hard with this black and white though, but really good job as far as the stories. The stories are very interesting. You got these characters down here. You got cracking arms coming out. Like I am enjoying that part of your concepts for sure. All right, moving on. Give it up for Pascal. Sorry, folks. Looks like this one is going to be like 2 hours long if I keep going at the speed I'm going. All right. So Joshua, you have a little bit of Bleach. What's his name? I'm about to say Ichigo. Is it Ichigo? I'm not sure. Have not seen Bleach in a long time, but I was in it for a second. But like sometimes with the longer anime, I have a really difficult time. Okay, so train station scene. it seems like your character is a little bit warped here, and I don't know if that was due to me, putting these images in. Like, I felt like some of them might have gotten warped. I don't totally know. But if it wasn't, then you want to make sure that, maybe you can save a duplicate before you make those really big uh, perspective transforms. It looks like you did do a little perspective here, so that's a good thing, and I'm glad that you went out there for it. But sometimes you can warp your character in certain ways, and if that was, not the idea for this piece, then I don't know. I feel like that could be avoided. Composition wise, I'm having a hard time. Like, I don't know if it's just the picture that you chose, maybe placing Ichigo farther back. I don't know if it was just the picture that you had to deal with, but having them at this forefront like this, like right next to the train, like I can't really paint too many shapes, okay? So that's giving me a hard time. I would put them farther back in the frame if I were to work out the composition for this, okay? Next things next, as always, painting in that light source. What's nice is that it looks like you might have colored this one in, which is cool. And if you didn't, well, the image did it for you, which is nice, but I feel like you did. But now go the next step and bring that down onto your character and just try to work it out. Having that light source is important. It's important. It's going to tell the game developer, like, hey, we need to make sure that we have this lit on this character, okay? Otherwise, our scene's not going to be set up right, or the player is not going to be able to see what they need to see in this cutscene or something like that. So boom on there, doing that same deal. I feel like they do this on the show sometimes, like certain things happen. Oh wow, the lighting actually worked out pretty good. And then you darken the outside of this now. And then boom, like it's already feeling better. Like, even with the composition being what it was, I feel like, just establishing that lighting takes it up a lot. So that is an important thing to do. And it will change how you feel. It will change how people will ingest your work, just because they will know where to focus. Okay, move this down here. Do yeah, overlay is a little bit dark. It could almost make it like it's a nighttime scene, but soft light works too. Let's stick it with the soft light today. And boom, it already feels a lot more alive. Last things last, as always, you can always take it up. Did I duplicate you guys? I did not. I'm gonna duplicate this layer. Oh no, don't want to lose that. Let's duplicate your layer and hit OK, and then hit filter. And I want to take it to topaz. I'll take it to topaz this time. We'll take it to topaz and see what this other filter kind of brings us. And it'll be quick. It takes everybody's in there, so everybody gets to see what their filter is going to look like. And it's going to be one filter, so it's like almost like we took the whole class into a comic strip. I'm sticking with artistic, but sometimes they're a little bit much. If you want to stick with this kind of like anime-esque style, Happy Little Trees is not a bad one. Impressionist, if it's done right, is not a bad one. Monet is sometimes a little bit too much. And take this down. It's a little too warpy for me. This one is not too bad. Alright, we'll apply it and hit OK. Oh, definitely killed our lighting. I'm not totally in love with it. It killed the lighting, but it did kind of bring together that train. The train in the back feels a lot less apart. It feels way more like it feels way more like it was part of the picture now. But it definitely, putting that filter on there, ruined our lighting. And sometimes it's trial and error with that sort of thing, because I don't like the colors that are happening there, so I'd have to go and kind of switch that whole piece up if I wanted it to work. But yeah, without it, it's not too bad. So even if I took this soft light and then just played it down some, I think it would work. Okay, that's okay. I like it. That feels better. Right off the bat, filters kind of make things a little bit cohesive. And then also, like, if you just kind of paint it in around the hair, like this light, and it kind of looks like the light is right above, but yeah, this light just from like the cutout, I guess maybe, maybe painting that in a little bit will make your character feel a little bit more apart. Using high res images is a good thing too. Okay. Okay, so we have this. I haven't really talked about color yet, and maybe there's a design reason why you chose to go the route you did. As far as composition, I feel like this is pretty interesting. I feel like you put a sword in this person's hand, so it's definitely gamified. Definitely feels like a game here. I'm kind of digging this one. Um, what can I say here? Like maybe, having the statue in this a little bit farther over to this side or a little bit farther back would make it feel just a little bit more like the person is there. It's kind of hard when you don't have your horizon lines there to get perspective perfect, but I'm digging this one a little bit. Why the person is black and white, I'm not totally sure. Maybe turning the whole image black and white, like like Pascal did, would work a little bit better for you in this image, Joshua. But yeah, I think this one is not bad. Um, cool. So good job, Joshua. Moving forward. I don't know how long it's been, but I'm gonna try to not take for forever. So might move a little bit faster on some of these other ones, and I'll let you all do a lot of the critiquing that needs to be done. I love this one. This one feels really really fun. You got your shadows working. Looks like you got a light source working. You painted a little bit here. Maybe even painting a little bit more of those light rays would work really really good too. I don't know if this is you in here or what. And then you even have like a game element. It looks like there's like a sword or something like that. Really really cool with this electricity. So I think that's awesome. Maybe paint a little bit of that light. 'Cause it looks like there's light coming from this, so maybe paint a little bit of that light. Looks like they were in a fight. Oh, this person's getting tripped. Nice. Okay, that's fun. Motion blur. I don't know if you motion blurred it. Maybe you did. It looks like there's motion happening here, but motion blur would sell this a lot. You can go up here to the filters and put the blur. I'm not gonna spend all that time cutting all that stuff out. The okay, with this one, yeah, I gotta cut this one out because we gotta get that right. So perspective here on this hallway that you have rocking, that needs to be fixed. That's a big one. That's a big one for me here. So I have no choice. That's to do it. We'll just go over it one more time for folks that might not know. We duplicate this. I don't mess everything up going forward. Yep, here, and we're gonna do edit, cut, edit, paste, special, paste in place. Open this back up, get rid of that, and we're here now, right? Sweet. And we're gonna hit Control T. So we know we have, when you're on the street, like, you can't lie. Perspective does not lie. So you gotta kind of line up with what's going on. Otherwise, you're gonna lose a lot of that realism unless you were trying to do that. And if it's intentional, you have to play it up. But I don't necessarily feel like it was intentional here. So let's stick to the rules of nature here. That's our horizon line. But coming down here, we got our perspective lines coming down here. Imagine these are straight. I'm mouse and keyboarding it, so that's my excuses. No excuses, but that's my excuses. So we're gonna follow that guide that we have there. Pop back over here and hit edit, transform. I'm gonna go to perspective. Is that not where it is? Oh, it's over here. So edit, transform, perspective. And I'm just gonna pull this, make this on out here. Well, okay, pull this one corner. I don't know why it's taking both of my corners. I just want the one corner. So it'd be a little bit more like that. Should have just used my warp here. But at least the bottom of the wall is where we need it to be. I'm gonna go back up so you guys can edit, transform, excuse what I want. Yeah, it's giving me the one side instead of the two sides. And the same thing would be for this door frame as well. This door frame would follow that. I just didn't cut it out, but now you see this wall is going the correct way. So like if you had a corner here, that's where it would be going, you know? Um, yeah. Yepers. So definitely those type of things are important. You really want to be focused on that perspective, okay? Oh my God. Cool. Put that underneath. And it already feels a lot better. It feels like these folks came from this place. You know, this light is blue, so maybe you have a little bit more of that blue light going on here. We talked a lot about lighting already. Um, yeah, but overall, as far as what's going on and the visual interest, I am digging it. I like it. So good job on that. Good job on that. And let's see about this other piece here. Oh, so hard for me to work with my layer on the screen, but it is for you all so that you are able to learn. Spoiled by my mini screens. Okay, this is an interesting one. I like how you have the light. The lighting is very interesting here. In terms of what's happening, I guess. Okay, what it seems like to me is that this is sneaking. It feels like a game. So great job there. I like it. Oh, this looks like Star Wars. Yeah, I've been playing this. So awesome job with that. You could definitely play up the darkness. It doesn't seem like the darkness is falling on him as just it being as dark as possible. So definitely playing on top of this character would go a long way. And this lighting, like using this light source again, same deal. Get on these characters and make sure that lighting is cohesive, because right now it looks like it's coming from over here on this left side of this character, but it's literally coming straight down. So it's very important. It's vital that you paint on here. As far as perspective, it's good. As far as visible interest, it's good. Your composition are working. So nice job on that. Great job there as well, Milan. All right, next up is Isaiah. All right, Isaiah, looks like you have these cool orbs giving a little bit of light to your scene, and you have this light over here. So big deal. It seems like you did paint in your shadow. I can't tell if that's just the ground or what. Play up that shadow a little bit because this light is hitting hard. Okay, it's that same deal with the lighting that we were kind of working out before. Same deal with that lighting. So I'm gonna go with the polygon method again. Polygon tool, lasso tool. Let that hit hard. Have this lighting hit hard over here, okay? And you kind of already, excuse me, you already have your guidelines. This one doesn't stop. This one doesn't stop. All right, so we'll do this again, and we're just gonna have that go straight across. And here. All right, really play up that lighting. Okay, just putting one of the rays in. I'll play it up just a little bit here, and gonna fill this area like we were doing before. Quick and dirty lighting to the scene. Always can be a lot more improved, but just to suggest what needs to be suggested. Okay, we could definitely go with like a yellow or something like that, but even this is still working. Gonna do the same thing that I was kind of doing before. You can either paint it all in to get that darkness around, or you could duplicate your layer, have it be darker, or you could add a clipping mask to your layer and then mask things back in as well. All of that stuff works. It works well to kind of establish that lighting and give a little bit more mood to your piece. I said I wasn't gonna do the lighting again, but this one is just it looks fun and cool, and I'm pretty sure that's that guy Cloud. So might as well get a little bit more in here. Let's make it a little bit more dramatic, right? And yeah, no, this looks really crazy right now, but quick and dirty lighting. That's what this is. All right, and then go and hit the soft light. Ooh, just feel like the mood, you know, you feel the mood. This is a little bit too crispy. You want a little bit more fall off here. Um, then play up this blue, like this blue side, like this side of your character needs to have, you know, it needs to have a little bit more life to it. You know, obviously you wouldn't have all that extraness going on here, but I don't have all your files, so. And this would like literally just kind of glow on your character, and then play up that red. You have all these really cool elements. Might as well make them work together to continue to tell this story that you want to happen with this composite image. All right, put that red going on over here. So now you got these two colors happening. Um, just suggesting them in there, but composition feels good. Got them in two different poses, same character. That's cool. Really nice job on that one. This one feels really, really good too. It looks like you did paint lighting here, unless you know you set up this lighting, but it works because this light is hitting this character like boom, nice. Hitting that blade a little bit. Could it be even more crispy? But this character just feels really good. So like, I don't know if you painted the lighting in or what, or if you just found this image like this. I'll have to like see if you turn that stuff in, but this one feels really, really good, and your understanding of perspective is working. Your character here, he feels grounded. Okay, so I'm not gonna do any changing to this image, but one thing I would say is like a filter would go a long way here. You know, that would be the only thing that you know would take it up even more. You know, you get a little bit more specific with lighting, but this one is well done. Good job, Isaiah. All right, give it up for Milan and Isaiah, guys. You all did awesome. Next up, got a couple of Marios. All right, so Jason, this is a fun piece. You decided to go with that super duper centered take on it. You got a shadow, keeping them grounded, so that's nice. Like I always say, a filter would go hard. Oh, I didn't even see this guy up here. So, with that being said, painting in that light once again is an essential thing that would take your photos up a lot. And also, since this is red on him already, I guess that's how you kind of picked up the image. Then you should totally unless you painted that in there. I don't quite know if you painted that in there or not, Jason, but you should totally you should play it up. Why not play it up? Let me duplicate your layer here first, and just turn these other light sources red, right? You know, you get the eyedropper tool, pop in here, get this color, grab a brush, you know, make sure it doesn't have like super duper hard edges, and kind of just change these lights, right? We're just changing these lights really quick. Cool, 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 cool. So we can match it up with Mario. All right, and then same deal, pop back into your layers. You can do it this way, or if you have another way, whatever works for you, go for it. Soft light has been kind of my friend, but we're losing a little bit too. It's losing a little bit of that red. Color burn is not working. This kind of works. Honestly, multiply makes me feel like it's kind of setting the mood a little bit better this time around. And I'll just drop it down some. That didn't really do it all the way for me. And also this color red is just not it for me either. Just the amount of red that's on. Oh, that's why, because I'm doing it straight on this layer. Yeah, that's why all these are happening. Wrong layer. Okay, let's do it on this layer, and now everything is gonna be right. Yeah. Honestly, it could be even bigger than this, like as far as my size that I'm going with. Then, boom, soft light. Makes it a little bit red. Could be even more red, you know. Really playing those up. Almost kind of drowned out your character there. This light source doesn't seem like it would go that far to be able to get this red, so maybe you'd have to kind of change it. Definitely darkening the scene would make this work a lot. So that same deal where we just kind of painted around the scene, getting those shadows in there, in order to make it just read a little bit better. Like that goes a long way, for sure. And it just kind of directs your eye where it needs to go. Okay. Figuring out how to make that work for your character up here is also kind of important. So keeping that in mind too while you're working. It's important. Kind of lost it down here, like that needs to be shown just because this is where this light is coming from in this image. Unless you like were to block that out or something. All right, and let's do overlay. We'll do overlay and drop the opacity a little bit. Starting, it's getting there, but this one you just need a little bit of lighting work in order to make it work with the redness that's on Mario. But this guy up here is composited well. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about this plant. Don't forget to put the shadows for the plant too. You know, that is crucial there, and that shadow is gonna fall out this way because this light source is with the main light source. And even on this plant, you would have a little bit of that red hue happening behind him and whatnot. So big ups for the lighting. I honestly like the composition of what you have going on here though. Even though, you know, Mario is a star, so he's front and center. Sometimes I have a hard time with that. As far as doing something else, it kind of seems like Mario's doing the same thing. I do like that you, in this next competition, I do like that you have him here. He's turning ghost though, so you want to kind of be careful about masking sometimes. And you could even like duplicate this grass and kind of put it back over him if that happens. Or just, you know, just try to be really careful with your masking. You can even use the spot heal tool brush if it's, you know, working well. Sometimes it doesn't really work the best. I sometimes run into that issue. So alt, you see, and it kind of just brushes those up. And, you know, we got a little bit more solid. We have a little bit more solid going on here around our friend Mario, instead of kind of losing them in there. You can always paint back, you know, that transparency that's happening on him. What else? I like this style that happens with like the realness and then the just the gaminess of Mario in these compositions with everybody using Mario values. So he would be darker. This value you would want to kind of change the values on this guy over here. And that's it's a quick thing. You could literally just, you know, you could paint it over this person. You know, I don't know why I'm forgetting what this character's name is. You guys can bash me about it in the comments of this video on YouTube, because my YouTube goes up. Ooh, no, I don't know if it's getting this whole circle. I feel like it's only getting the outside. Sometimes Photoshop is too smart for its own good. So instead of being on this layer, I need to go to another layer. I was getting lazy. Boom, we are here. Do something a little bit more grayed out. Okay, so we can have it seem like this character's farther away. Obviously, you would want to be more clean here. We'll do lighten or lighter color. And this is probably gonna look really weird, but the idea I'm trying to get is just, you know, you wanna make sure that your values are working when your character is farther away. Yeah, if I had the character itself, it'd be a little bit easier, but I'd have to cut him out to do that. But this character would just not be as saturated with color. Oh yeah, that would be good. Changing the saturation would work for this as well, actually. And, you know, making a clipping mask, going down here, adjustment layer. Oops, sorry, that's a mask. And my mic like right next to my keyboard, so it's my turn. It's like an ASMR video. Okay, hue, saturation, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Clipping mask that thing, and then lightness and less saturation. It's not really wanting to work with me, but yeah. Anyway, because it's only working on the sphere and not the character itself. But you would need to cut out this character in order for that to work the way it should. So value on this guy, that looks like he's like an egg. All right. The last thing is this composition. You're losing me here with this going out of the frame. I don't know why you decided to take it out. Like maybe the image wasn't all the way done, but that is taking me out of this image a little bit. Just like he's going out the frame, I'm going out the image. So composition wise, I would say that that was not the best choice. um so yeah, try to, think about what people are going to be focusing on in your image. And this is like a giant, so like straight up. And the same thing goes here. Like there's this thing in in game engines called exponential fog, I think. There's also like volumetric fog, but like think about having like an air fog back here too for these people that are farther back, they're far off in the distance. I kind of just painted that in there. You could use the spot heal tool if you wanted to paint some more trees in there, or whatever you want to do. Copy and paste some more of these trees up, take a selection of them, so that it doesn't look like that piece was floating. Those are a little bit nitpicky details, but overall, I think that what you had working out there, Jason, was pretty good. Don't be afraid to go in there and paint, and also just pay attention to your values, especially with characters that are farther away from the camera, or what you're trying to center your view to be. Okay. Right off the bat, I am pulled in by two things on this piece. Oh, I'm sorry, Jason. Awesome job, everybody! Give it up for Jason. Even though it's just me clapping to myself, it's all good. I get really excited with these critiques sometimes because I just like to see all the awesome work you guys do. You all do. Um, I really like this piece. You really went for it as far as drawing your characters in there and also doing photo bashing. So I really feel like Uganma, sorry, it is not. It is, you like to either be called Eagle or, yeah, Uganma. Yes, that is correct. Okay. Let me know if I'm wrong. Again, I'm trying my best here. Yeah, so the lighting is working out really, really well. I think this was the lighting that came with the picture, but you played it up. I think I did actually see your source stuff for this image already. And I'm always digging the pictures you anything that's like, kind of futuristic looking. I don't know if you blurred this one or not. It seems like you also played with your blending modes. Sometimes that can, kind of not necessarily work out the best. These guys get a little bit washed out as far as that goes. And I saw this image, so like, I don't know, it seems like something that you might want to play up, but at the same time, it looks like a really, really cool piece. But I can't really tell what's happening here with all these details that are happening with this guy. And I totally saw that image. I don't know if you took it and put the head on this guy, or what. But it's cool. Or maybe use the same guys and then just kind of flip them. So I like how it worked out here. I like these details that you put on the board. This image back here, really, really futuristic. As far as a concept, it feels like a concept. I don't know if you painted this in here or what, but I love it. So I definitely see the painterly aspect going on here. It feels like a really, really conceptual piece. So overall, I'm liking it. The perspective is working. Everything doesn't need to be super duper tight knit, especially with something like super duper stylized like this. But your characters feel like they're in that place. So certain things, are kind of harder to comment on with a piece like this, because it's not like it's like grounded in reality, as far as like, lighting and whatnot. Could be like, oh well, his leg is under the desk, so we can make it a little bit darker. But these characters are popping off the page right now. And as far as the design goes, it just feels like a really, really conceptual piece. And just the way that this lighting worked out was awesome. And yeah, this is one that I might go back and look at the have everybody else see the what the process was for putting this together. Love this out here in the window. A couple people did window things, but that one worked out really, really well. Good job. And then you brought it over to this next one. So I saw this image. You did a good job of bringing this into your world. It's like really, I feel like you really made worlds that are your own here. So nice job on that, because that's a tough thing to do. And a lot of that just comes from really, really bright ideas and then having the ability to execute them. But the painting is also well done. Your characters fit really, really well in these scenes. Definitely, it feels very gallery piece to NFT as well. Yeah, I don't. still, there's something about this one really fit. I think it's just the perspective and the lighting combination. It just works really, really well. Something I would say is the lighting here. You could probably improve having this lighting kind of hit some of these characters a little bit. Well, I don't know. It hits the pillow, which is nice. I'm not quite sure where this other light source is coming from, so it's kind of hard for me to tell. And it also seems like this is another light source. So like I don't know if this is like, you know, they're out in some space station. There's a big planet, big old planet over here, and then like some other big old planet over here, and it's just directing rays this way, and then back this way onto the ship here. You know. So it's a little bit hard for me to tell where these light sources are coming from and how they're hitting your characters, and the style of the character makes it a little bit difficult too. But as far as composition, I like it, and as far as creativity, I'm really digging it. So good job on that. Originality goes up. So give it up for Jason Lee and Uganma Eagle. And I think Jason Lay, I'm probably saying that wrong, so I'm sorry about that if I am. Ooh, I need some water. Here we go. We still have 3 more pages of composites, and I know we're going on almost 2 hours. All right, let's look at this. Looks like, Mitch, you decided to do 2 exterior images for the project. You're supposed to do 1 interior and 1 exterior. I will totally let you submit another image to be your interior, but I really like these. I also kind of like, you know, that I didn't make a certain aspect ratio for you. I kind of left it up to you because, you know, normally I'm so used to seeing things that are like this. I'm so used to working in film, but seeing these more portraity type feel is really cool as far as like how large the scale can get with certain characters, and it changes the composition. So that is awesome. Okay, so this one feels like a game. This looks like a Destiny character or something like that you have down here. So that is cool. It seems like, I'm not sure what you did to be able to get the values to work out for you, and it also kind of feels like that fog, the exponential volume fog that I was talking about, is happening in your images. Let me take a little bit closer look. I see you kind of use that same kind of like triangle composition. I'm not sure. It seems like you dropped these these pyramids in here, so that's cool. And then these guys have a little bit of that like smokiness happening there. They have shadows. That's cool. I'm gonna check your shadows to kind of see. Okay, so one thing I will say is this. It seems like these shadows are coming this way, and then you have these pyramid shadows that are hard on this side of the pyramid, and you have this planet which seems like it might be able to emit light. Maybe not, maybe it's really, really far off. But I am having a hard time sourcing your light. Okay, so choose a light source that can kind of work for you, so that will establish where your shadows are going, because I'm kind of confused about this one over here, this one over here. Maybe there's multiple suns, but if that's the case, put them in there. Also kind of be careful with your cutout, unless you're meaning for it to be more atmospheric and like not totally show the other side. If that's the case, just be really, really intentional about it. Okay, like really get in there and make that be like your thought of what you're trying to do. It seems like you kind of started to, and you know, I don't study the planets, so like I to a certain degree I do, but like I'm no astronomer, astrologer, or anything like that. Let me duplicate this. But I just feel like, you know, if you wanted to make it like really like brush, kind of like you don't see the whole entire moon here, like really go in there and make it happen all the way. You know, and see how that kind of works with your composition. I'm not sure if that was the case or if it was just like you trying to cut it out, like what you were trying to do. But there are also some really, really good cloud brushes in this pack if you can find them, because I've just been suffering to find them. Oh, here we go. Here go the clouds. You know, if you use Photoshop, you know, boom, that does like half the job for you right there. Change it to a different color. I don't know. You know, start to play with the opacity on that. I didn't put on the right layer, so it's not gonna do all that. But yeah, you know, lighting source, and then just getting those fine details. But I feel like the elements you chose work really, really well. So that is fun. Motion blur on that ship though. It's far enough away that you can't really, you know, but some motion blur on it would be fun. You chose to do 2 different characters too, so I'll keep that in mind as well. But you do need an interior image. I like that you source these lights. I like that it looks like you did a little bit of painting on them too, which is fun. You know, they're starting to happen on the trees, but play it up some, okay? Um, I love this character. I don't know if I don't know if this was all one image, but it's really cool. These like little jellyfish, like spirits, kind of remind me of Spirited Away. Hayao Miyazaki. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's great. Not Spirited Away. Spirited Away is good too, but I meant to say Princess Mononoke. But Spirited Away definitely works too. But yeah, I love this. So this character is so badass. So I don't know where you found it from, or if you actually like sculpted it or something, but just like that is awesome. I love it. Composition of this piece is really good too. Play up that lighting though, you know, play up that blue light, really make it fill your scene because it's really interesting and cool. But I also like the mood. I feel like the mood in both of your pieces is probably the best part. Um, it's like you didn't do too much, but you just did enough for it to be extremely convincing and just well thought out and well placed. Feels like a game. So good job on that, Mitch. All right, let's see what we have next here. This is Idowu. Hopefully I said that right, Idowu. Awesome job. I kind of got to talk a little bit with you in the Discord or virtually chat with you, and you started to gamify it. I challenged you to do some other things, which probably, you know, made things a little bit more difficult for you. This was the one that you said you were having a lot of trouble with. Your character's pretty far away, so you can't totally see this sword in the hand, but it's nice. It's definitely a nice effort going on here with that, and I'm glad that you took on that challenge. Shadows are going to be really hard here because it's just so bright. Because this dragon is closer to, you want to get the values down there. So using that technique that I was kind of talking about as far as the technique, I guess you can call it technique, but basically the adjustment mask and exposure. It's a really good one to go with in order to kind of get the color that you need. Something like this dragon, you keeping him really bright, but you know it's okay since he's so close. We can bring back some of that color. That is totally fine, and I know it's probably really difficult to cut him out from whatever image you're in. So yeah, and then I didn't do the best job here. Probably would have been better just to paint over him, but just for the purposes of showing you how the exposure piece works. One more time for folks who might have dozed off during this long video. Honestly, I need to like check my OBS to make sure that I'm still even recording anything. Hold on, folks. I am. Sweet. Okay. It's gonna be a long one. All right. Did I lose my selection? Please don't tell me I lost my selection. Okay, cool. All right, so now I'm going to fill this, or we can cut it out. Control X in that layer. Control X here, and then edit, paste in place. Whoa. Edit, paste special. Sorry, I was already in transform mode. Okay, so we have this guy here, and then we're going to add one of these adjustment, and then we're going to deal with the exposure. Other things you could deal with brightness and contrast or levels as well, but we're going to do exposure again. Let's bring it to, oh, you know what I didn't do? This clipping mask button is so important. Clipping mask will only do it to where I work that out, so we're going to bring this down a little bit. Okay, feels a little bit better here. Feel a little bit more dramatic with this lighting. We could even paint a little bit of these edges too, just to get that lighting be even more direct. You know, like realistically, yeah, it's bright, it's fire. But at the same time, fire is gonna force these really dark shadows to happen, right? So, let's just play up, you know, what's happening in your scene. And fire also produces smoke, right? And like I can see like your character is just kind of popping off a little bit too much, right? Your character back here is a little bit too crisp as well, so that's another thing to try to work out as well. So yeah, I just did it. I didn't even use any of the blending modes here, just literally dropped the opacity and kind of like did this so we can focus our attention on what needs to be focused on. You can even do it over here if you want to. Might be a little bit much at this point, but all right. Next things next, your character, you know, smoke goes a long way to, take things back. I do like the highlight of that though, so I'm gonna just really make it really, really, really light, light gray mist. Also, kind of deal with those values of your character. It's not really the smoke. This is definitely more of the cloud, but and then we kind of get that atmospheric fog kind of going all the way across. Something to play with there. I don't know. Uh, yeah, it's starting to get a little bit. And then we'll just drop that down a little bit. I don't know if I put that on its own layer though. I didn't, but you would put that on your own on its own layer. That would help a little bit. Also, just lightening your character being back there would probably help a little bit to bring it all together. And like I always say, filter on this one would, I feel like the filter for this one would go up really, really like a lot. I didn't merge all these down, but if you merge these down and drop the filter on it, it would be, I'll just do it anyway. Layer at this point, we're this far in. Flatten image. And then duplicate this layer. Okay. And then filter. I'm gonna go to topaz again. Oof. I mean, you still got 2 pages. Man. Man, oh man. And gotta look. Sometimes it's critiques. They get me so excited I get just literally exhausted. Alright, happy tree. Let's do oil painting this time. And we take it down a lot. Yeah, that's good enough. And apply. And accept. Alright. Yeah, the oil painting, it did its job. It did it really, really light. It could have gone a little bit further, but it did help a little bit, I think. Could be wrong there. It could just be a perspective thing on my end, but yeah. So overall, really good. I'm glad that you challenged yourself. Originally, this image was really like, oh, it seems like you did some more work on this too. I know I challenged you to put this dragon. I loved how it felt before you decided to put this dragon here. I just wanted to see what you could do. If you had to be faced with, adding more stuff, like you have an art director, somebody over you, you're gonna get faced with those challenges a lot. And it's a big part of concept art, not being too tied to whatever it is. But I really liked it in the beginning when you only had, this character. You didn't even have a sword or anything. I still don't think you necessarily needed the sword. I'm not sure if the sword fits, right? I feel like this is like an elemental fairy type that uses magic. But then again, that's just my 2 cents on it. And if you did have something like this sword, like maybe make the texture the wing or something like that, something that's more like bug-like, that's more of this character's world. I definitely see that this was more difficult to cut out here. So it kind of feels like some of the dragon is missing, like I'm losing a little bit of it. So it kind of feels like I just don't have half of a dragon here. So it might have just been an image thing there, as far as this piece goes. Like maybe just choosing a dragon that fits a little bit better would make this work out a lot better. I love the lighting going on here. It seems like you got a little bit more intentional with it too. I know you're on ArtStation with it, so found some really good images, but I'm glad you took on the challenge overall. And once again, you have 2 outdoor images as well. So if you read the instructions, I know the instructions were a lot. But I want it to be as specific as possible for folks, especially on the first assignments. The other ones going forward, I'm not as specific, but it's really important that you start, working out these ideas with, with design principles in mind. So yes, but looks really, really good. I would change that dragon though, or paint in the rest of its body, or do something like work on the perspective of it. It's popping out too much. Maybe adding some smoke there, some things that we can, make it feel a little bit more grounded. And also the saturation on the color of the dragon, you can literally do that same thing. So when you first brought it in, make an adjustment layer, clipping mask, and bring the saturation down so it fits this scene. All right, but Give it up for Idowu. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name right. Let me know how to say it. And Mitch. Really good job, you all. Okay. Next up, we have Jonathan. Okay, Jonathan, right off the bat, I'm sure you watched one of the videos and saw one of the filters I did, and definitely filter works in that cohesion. It feels like one piece for sure, but turn it down. Otherwise, it seems like your whole image is underwater. I know that it kind of looks like a pirate ship or something like that, so that works. But I'm losing out on a lot of what's going on here. And the images that you chose were really good, so like that already works for you, so you might not have actually needed it. As far as the shadows are working for me, you could paint a little bit more of the light down there. I'm not, yeah, I'm losing what this is. So this is like one of those times when the filters are too much. And there's been a couple times when I was working on some stuff in the class where that happened. So don't blame me for it. But like if you wanted to resubmit and turn down that filter, that would be awesome. Also, do a couple more things, paint it in a little bit, but like there's some things that I just can't assess because I can't quite tell. Um, the filters are good for covering up, but I also want to see the things that you intended, right? So like this over here, I'm not sure what that is. The glowing door is cool, and maybe that is another piece where you're putting in some more information about the game. Same thing with this question mark over it. It's like, okay, I need to go turn in my quest. I need to go and speak with this character and see what's going on here. But okay, maybe they're questioning the scene of what's going on here or something like that. This door kind of takes me out of it, but like because I said to create this with the intention of game, maybe there's an interactive element behind it. Okay, no, totally. The door and the book both have the glow. Never mind, works for me. Composition wise, I think you did a good job of fitting your character in this scene, and yeah, definitely play with this blue light on whatever this object is that I'm not totally sure about. Just because it's working like throughout the rest of the scene. And yeah, painting down on your character could make a difference. But I see that you did a little bit here, so that helps. Just less on the filter, for sure. This one I'm also pretty pleased with. Like you did a good job with shadow. You got it going this way. Um, Same thing with this treasure chest. So like your perspective was pretty on point here. Yeah, way less on the filters here, so I think you're like almost perfect. You're getting really close with your filter usage on this image. Do that same thing with the other image, and you'll be going a long way. As far as visual interest is working for me, and as far as your composition is definitely working for me as well. um, you could do a little backlight painting on your character if you wanted to, just around the edges. But overall, I'm really liking this composition. Thanks for putting that shadow in there to ground, but the perspective is really good. So your perspective is working out well. All right, and here we have a little bit of the classics. It's actually watching A New Hope yesterday, so that was cool. First things right out the bat, we need some shadows. There's sun. They got multiple suns, so give me some shadows going on down here. We need those. It'll make a big difference, even if you don't do it the traditional way of doing shadows in Photoshop. One of the more normal ways of doing shadows, like just get in there and get a shadow happening regardless. Okay, that's just if it works for your scene. If there's a light source that can make it happen, then definitely just make that happen. I don't know where your light source is right now. One way I could tell is if you did have shadows. So let's say that it is coming from your source of light is up here, and maybe you decide to put like a shadow down here. This is totally the wrong color. We could also just, I'll quickly get R2 out of here. It's gonna be very disheveled R2D2 out here. Boom. Okay, and get his bottom foot, but this is fine. And then you're gonna gonna fill this layer up. Fill it up with black this time now. And then I'm gonna hit D to get rid of that selection, and then hit Control T, and then hit Edit, Transform. I'm gonna do Skew for now, just to get it down here to where I want it to be, and then hit Edit, Transform, and do Perspective. Dude. Okay. That. And then I don't know what that weird flip was. You didn't have to do weird flip. There are definitely other ways to do that. I'm gonna do rotate on this. Okay. All right. And then I'm gonna use just the image work. I don't know why. Like sometimes like I get really funky with my shadows. There are much better foolproof ways to go about your shadows. There's like 50 videos on YouTube about different shadows, realistic shadows, and all that stuff. Sometimes I get way too creative with it. All right, enter here. Boom. Drop the opacity. This is a really hard shadow. You know, you can make the edges not so intense if you want to. Soften the edges of your mask and stuff like that as well, to get it to be like perfect if you want to. Okay, but just any type of shadow in there makes it feel a little bit more grounded, like your character is just not floating in space. Same thing would happen with these other rocks and stuff too. Like just make sure that you get those shadows. It's a big deal. If you don't do anything else in this class, make sure you get those shadows, so that you know things feel grounded. Okay. Other than that, the composition is pretty cool. It's kind of hard to tell what R2D2 is doing, just because he's just like a very robot in the sounds or his way of communication. So, okay, so here we have a lot of cool stuff going on. The perspective you chose is pretty awesome. Think about your so R2 feels good here. The shadow that I'm painting actually kind of works a little bit here. Once again, like this is when you're inside, you are in control of the light. So make sure that your light sources are where they need to be. Okay. The perspective on this phone is just a little bit funky, but it's just a hard one to get with the way the scene is kind of set up. So definitely work on the perspective, something like this. Drawing those perspective lines. I wish I could find that dang perspective brush, but drawing those perspective lines makes a really big difference too, with something like this as well. But as far as just visual interest, I like the elements that you chose. I think that works really well here, as well. Okay. So definitely perspective, definitely getting those grounding shadows. Looks like you painted a little bit in here. I can't totally tell as far as the phone. Just with what's going on, I don't know if the phone necessarily fits this concept idea. And then yeah, be very intentional with how you're gonna paint these lights. Like you got these lights up here that you could possibly use. You got this light over here that you could paint on the back of R2D2. All that stuff makes a big difference. Last things last, do get rid of these. Can't have those in there. Say you wanted to put this in your reel or something, you know, can't have Lucasfilms LTD in there. It's a really easy, quick paint over. You know, it's really quick. Just you know, get that out of there. Oh, it looks like it's a watermark actually. So either you can even just cut that out if you wanted to, or I might not be on the right layer. I'm not. You know, get in there, paint that out of there, make it work for yourself. And a filter would go a long way with this as well. But yeah, so good job on that though. I like the composition. The composition works for me. Remy, I might be saying his name wrong. I'm sorry. Please let me know if I'm butchering it. I'm gonna go with Remy though. And Jonathan, good job. Remy, good job. Clapping it up. All right, last page, I think. Actually, I don't know if this is the last page. Oh my gosh, we have so many more left. I must drink water. Okay. So I edited a lot of these other ones. Okay, right off the bat with this one, Kindle. Let's get down to the nitty gritty with this guy here. So give me some bushes. We need some shadows. We need some decision of where. Okay, so we got it going back there. So that's where you decided your shadows are gonna go, right? Well, that needs to carry over for this building too. Okay, and also a really easy way to you literally take pieces of these rocks and put them in front of your building in the right. Oh my gosh, wrong tool here. Let me get the mask glass up. Excuse me. Okay. Whew. Okay. Give me this lasso tool. Let me just grab some of this rock here. Control C, make a new layer. Make a new layer here and Control V. Oh my gosh. I took that from the wrong layer. Control C, and then Control V. Take this rock. Control T. You can really get in with the transform tools or whatever, and just maybe you make a rock bed kind of like in front of this piece here. Another thing you could do if I had your layers, then I could do some like masking around here, but it's just you want to try to embed, especially if the perspective is not totally right, because like that's another thing, you need to work with this horizon line that's happening behind you to get your perspective correct. Just having a whole bunch of these rocks would help to kind of embed this building, because that one is kind of taking me out of it a little bit. So, and that would also just kind of help with the perspective of your image, with everything that's going on here. Okay, so that's just one quick trick that I like to use. You can use like bushes, find some bushes or something like that, and place it around there too. That would work, especially working with something like Groot. Um, yeah. Next things next, filter always goes a long way, like I always say. So you can definitely drop a filter, and Gyarados needs to have a lighter value. So I could just quickly go like this and cut out Gyarados. I think that's Gyarados. It might be another Pokemon. It might not even be a Pokemon, but I thought it was Gyarados. Showing my age here. I was there for the original Pokemon. All right, Control B. All right, that did not happen. Let's hit Control C, and then let's hit Control X. Come up here, edit, paste in place, and then we're gonna add a adjustment layer. And the adjustment layer is going to be hue saturation, and then we're going to take the saturation down. And it did it for the whole image, but hit that clipping mask and it should do it just for Gyarados or whatever this person is, whatever this character is. It's like Gyarados. And make it a little bit lighter. Obviously, if you were cut out right, it would work a little bit better. But yeah, and you could even kind of like blur it out a little bit. But just because the character's so far away, you're gonna lose a little bit of that saturation. It's just working with the values. So yeah, those are the few things that I say going on there. Like as far as the lighting, it works, but just having those shadows in there. Overall, like just because like yeah, everything seems like pretty even in tone, which is awesome. So good job on that, and that shadow is very well placed. Let's see about this other one, Kindle. Yeah, this one's cool too. Yeah, both of these, like a quick filter on these would make it fit. Not totally sure about the selection of this house, and then also, you know, that same thing, choosing your light source kind of wisely, like where you put your character and where the lights are is kind of tough. I don't know if you kind of painted this side, but it does work with the shadow that they're in. As far as the placement, it seems like you tried to place rather than be super duper intentional with your lighting. Last things last, the perspective of this deer is just a little bit off, but I'm telling you, like with the filter, all that would go, a lot of this stuff would be fixed. Um, yeah, I'm just like, sometimes I'm kind of filter crazy. So I'm just gonna go No, we don't have time. Filter go a long way, even if it's one of the iPhone filters. Okay, Alexis, let's see what you got going on here. Same with this one. This one was really fun too. This is your outdoor image. You got these little fairy things flying around, which is awesome. Definitely of your character. You can have this glow around your character, makes them feel very magical. An interesting thing about having a character in like a deep forest is that like you want the lighting to be kind of dark, and then you can choose where you want the certain light rays to come down. So I would definitely urge you to go around this image and do a little bit of painting for sure. And like just getting really intentional with that is ideal. But yeah, anyway, you see me do it a bunch of times. Kind of work that out for yourself, and that would go a long way. Also a filter would definitely bring things together too. And like as always, yeah, just don't be afraid to do a little bit more painting. These fairies are really awesome though, and that works well. Using them to highlight your scene would be just really cool though. Let me see if I can do something really quick. Really quick. Let me duplicate this layer. Okay. And then I'm going to add a I'm going to add let's do exposure. 5%. No, we'll do exposure. We'll just do regular exposure. Bring it down some. All right. Bring our exposure down some. Change the gamma. It's too much in the gamma. Gamma is also a nice way to get to mess with your values too. All right. And so I have this layer over this. Okay. And it's going over the whole image. So I need to make sure that it is a clipping. Gotta be a clipping. All right. And then go back to the layer. So it's only clipped to this one. Still have this one underneath. And then I'm going to, okay. So I added a mask and an adjustment layer. And then I am going to, so this is another cool lighting way as well. No. Go back to my layer. All right, cool. Cool. And then like we got a little bit of glow, right? It works because I have that other layer underneath. It's a nice technique to use too. I know I was painting a lot of them in before, but a lot of folks do this one. And it's nice because it's pretty easy to set up, and then like it works well because you can get some like very nice like more realistic lighting going on, especially like on your characters, and yeah, it's just kind of cool. Say you have something like that a little bit closer. Say you have that light beam coming down now. Um, this one in the hand like really glows around the body. You can get this side too. Okay. It's a nice slight way to do it. Really good strategy if you're not as confident with your painting, because a lot of more so it's just like you're erasing. It's like you're not even painting anything. More so you're erasing, you're using that mask, you're using that exposure to kind of just be a little bit more in control of that light. Like even at this point, I could start, I could get like a more like a rectangular brush if I could find one, but I'm just having like brush difficulties today. And then you can kind of start to get those light beams that can happen from the trees and whatnot. Those godly light beams that can come down here. It's not, but you know, make them in honestly better. But it's just another option you have here. You can even come down all the way to the ground. Kind of highlight your character in this environment and whatnot. Just playing up these fairies too, and how they can also have a little bit of light impact on your character as well. Cool. But I like the design. It feels really concepty. Nice job there. And I really like this one. This one, the lighting is working well. I don't know if you did any intentional lighting here, but lighting is working well. Oh yeah, it's going over the whole image, so I can go in here and kind of paint it again too. You got this lighting happening over here. Because we have that same setup, it's already like really easy. It made it easy to kind of move forth with that same kind of idea of lighting your scene. Yeah, so that's another cool way to kind of paint your lighting in there, get real intentional with it. But as far as your perspective, works really, really well. I'm feeling it. It feels like your people are grounded in there. I don't know if there's a shadow on this one, but it looks like you have a shadow going back there, so that works too. And it's visually interesting. It seems like you did two different characters, but at least you have one inside and one outside. So nice job there. Okay. Whew. All right, that's 7. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. 8. Gotta stop painting and just start critiquing. Really nice job here. I'm not sure what elements. I haven't seen like the elements that you put together for this. Like I don't know if you just found a whole bunch of pixel images or what, but it does seem like you did duplicate the shadows and kind of set things up. Looks like some things were already there, but I just don't know enough about the image to know what actually you had affected here. And so like if I go through and I see your images, then that would probably help me a little bit. Let me see if I can pull those up really quickly. I feel like I might have closed that folder that had all of that stuff. Did I? I feel like I did. So might leave that for the peer review edits. But depending on what you did, I think that the style is really, really awesome. It looks really, really cool. It feels like a game for sure. And the isometric perspective is working to me in this piece. The interior piece is also really cool. I'm not sure if you painted in the lightings and whatnot either, but I can tell that you did the shadows here. One thing I will say is that just choose where your shadows are going, because sometimes like right now I'm kind of confused. There's this light here and then there's this light here, so you kind of should choose and have it kind of be consistent with both of these characters. This one's a little bit closer, so maybe choosing this one for both would work well in this situation. And then kind of study like these type of pixely games to see how that works for you. This one is working though. You definitely were intentional about where that was coming from, and then boom, off here maybe a little bit more red going on with this, but now I'm just being a little bit nitpicky. As far as style, it's working for me. It looks like your character's about to go to sleep, and yeah, definitely nice job on this, Amaya. And I'm not sure if I said nice job to group 7, but you guys did awesome. Kendall and Alexis, you all did really good. Let's see here. Oh, I like how you photo bashed, these different buildings in here. That's really awesome. Yeah, this is well done, Nathan. I'm digging this. I can definitely tell you have a nice eye for design here. I don't know if you have done any film stuff already or anything like that, but the composition is well done. This image is really cool that you chose. Having them closer and be darker since they're closer to that is cool. The lighting is working. They're in the shade. It's lighter back there. You're using values here, but I feel like you could lighten this building a little bit too. Just because that's where the light is hitting kind of hard, and unless there are some clouds in the sky, this building back here would be really light. But as far as the photo bash goes, nice job, perspective. It feels good. Sweet. With this one, we need a shadow. We got to have a shadow here to make this guy Spidey feel grounded. Right now he feels just a little bit floaty. Good job on masking out his hand, cutting out his hand, whatever happened here. Having this car in here was a nice little touch. Getting the perspective right is tough. Just remember you got this horizon line, and that's happening here. So I definitely see the intention, but really work with this lighting. It seems like there's light coming from up here. Have that come down. I'm not sure if you pan it or not. It feels like really, really slight, but get really dramatic with it, especially with this stage that you're setting. I'm not the biggest fan of the composition on this one. Like I like the composition on your other one just a little bit more. Something about this one just seems just too on the nose. And then I think that you should drop, yeah, that's what's happening here. I think you need to drop the saturation on both of these, on both, yeah, both of these guys. I think that would bring it together for sure. And do I have something on this? No, I don't. Yeah, so lighting, paint that lighting in hardcore, and over Spider-Man as well. Like make this side would be pretty dark, and this side would be very, very light, and also lowering the saturation on both of those would help a lot. But really awesome job, especially with that photo bash scene. and really cool style. I don't think anybody else went that pixely, so really awesome job. Maya Burton and Nathan Mena. Oh, I think I might be saying people's last names. Sure. So yeah, good job. All right. I'm trying to fly through these last few because I am getting tired. Okay, number 9. Yeah, the workshop. If there was any workshop that was supposed to happen this week, that's not happening right now. Awesome job, heroes. We moved on to you. I really like the characters that you brought into this place. Choosing that light source is really important. It seems like it might be behind you, and if that's the case, you can really highlight this stuff. Masking it out, raising the exposure, painting in some light that's happening behind your character, and so like they'll be really really bright around the edges. Um, and then you can paint in the rest of the shadows around there, but it feels good, very very on the nose. It's nice having this guy out here though, like he's lurking and ready. I love this one. This one feels really awesome to me. I like how you worked with the shadows. You even bent this shadow over here, so I don't know if you used the warp for that or what, or if you just painted it, but it works well, and you thought about how this character's shadow would work in this lighting. I'm not sure if it would be in this direction necessarily. I feel like it would be going this direction, but just the fact that you thought about your characters, how your character is set up, it just works for me. And in this one, it seems like you had this one be a little bit darker, which is good. So you mess with, I don't know if it's adjustment layer or what, but that worked out. You do have this light source here, so if that is something that you wanted to play up, then I say totally play it up, and that would be in light down here, or paint that away. So that's the one thing that I would say could be worked on a little bit, is choosing what you want to do with this source over here. And like I always say, filter would go hard. Just especially with this one, this guy feels just a little bit more cartoony. Uh, and I think who you're trying to highlight is this creature over here. So you could even make it a little bit brighter on that side for this creature. Um, but as far as composition goes, I think it's fun. Even though this character feels a little bit flat, filter would go a long way to fix that. All right, the oh, okay. So you place this character here. I wasn't sure if you place this character here or not. Um, I like what you're doing here. Um, I think that filter would totally bring this one together really really well. I see that you did the window replacement, which is awesome. It's a cool thing to do. You could add some glass if you wanted to, because it seems pretty real. You could find an image of some glass or something like that, um, and you could paint that over as well. So yeah, finding an image of some glass, and then putting it into the frames as well would be really cool. Even playing with some reflection, but this is extra stuff. But as far as executing what was asked, like with the task, I think you did a pretty good job, and I like the mood of this one. I really like it's really calm. Thinking about other gameplay elements would be nice too, but like just the way this is set up is curious, and I like the composition that you have working out here. Definitely feels like more of like a narrative based game, cutscene type deal. All right, and this one has a lot of lighting stuff that can happen. I think I actually kind of played with this one when after I kind of did discuss some of the stuff with you in Discord. Um, so definitely you got this light back here. You need to figure out how it's going to work on this character. This light pole is floating, and that's giving me a hard time, especially with how blurred this background is. Like, definitely need to figure that out. Add some type of base, photograph some other type of base in there. And then proportions are a little bit funky. Well, I can't necessarily say that because like in Chicago they have huge curves. Last thing last, we already talked about this, was basically the eye lines of this character. And that's one's kind of hard to work out, just because like the angle at which he's falling makes it difficult as well. And because it's nighttime and we have this light here and we have this light here, like shadows would be kind of hard. That's another thing. You can start to play with the exposure, like maybe putting exposure over the whole image like I showed in the other example, and kind of painting around these other pieces. And don't be afraid to break up your character. Like I played when I was trying to workshop this image a little bit on my own. Like I played just with this guy's posture and stuff like that. And yeah, don't be afraid to go in there and cut things up and then kind of paint it back in and stuff like that. Because sometimes that's what it takes. Just to work on visual interest. Also with him, I kind of painted in his eyes and stuff. But I think I'll find another falling person that works a little bit better. Like even the foot is a little bit more difficult. Like you would have trouble working that out. Okay, so I'd find somebody else who's more so tripping. This guy looks like he's like falling in slow motion or something. That kind of reminds me of one of those like Tame Impala videos. Um, yeah, those are my notes for this one. Things just feel just a little bit flat, and like I'm kind of just losing where the direction is coming, uh, as far as that goes as well. Really, really awesome job though, Rose and Guy, happening up. Okay, man, this class is huge. 10, 11, 12, 13. Wow. Okay. Isabella Bodie, you were in my class before. And it seems like you do a lot more like hand drawn stuff. So I think this class is a good challenge for you. I know you said you wanted to get into like doing more 3D stuff, and that's well on the way. I am very excited for that too. Okay, so Rose will still have a shadow, and it's gonna be coming behind her. You already had the right direction here, but Rose is still gonna have a shadow, even though she's like indoors. I like this framing that you have going on here. That's awesome. Um, I think the whole value out here could be taken down some. It's kind of hard with these super duper cartoony characters, but I like it. I like the contrast between the reality, but finding that happy medium is tough. And you know what I always say, throwing that filter on there for these, would definitely go a long way. If that's something that you're open to. A lot of times, concept art looks kind of painterly, so that's nice. That's one nice thing about using filters on the more realistic images and whatnot. Yeah. This is the one filter. So I'll just throw that on there really quickly before we move forward. And I'm gonna add a look. Sorry, you can't see any of this stuff. I'm over in Topaz again. I'm messing around with filters too much. Uh, and let's see what we can come up with here. It's a lot. They have like you can like really really tweak the settings in here, but just I want to make sure that we get through this video. All right. Yeah, a little bit more. This feels like a little bit more painterly. Kind of took away some of your colors here, but it just brings it a little bit together more, especially out here. You have that suggestion of the castle and whatnot, but it doesn't feel as far. This texture is still kind of heavy, so might choose a different filter there. But I just wanted to see, how that worked out for you. So definitely, yeah. And then you can still, yeah, definitely you can paint shadows and do a lot of the stuff that we were kind of workshopping. You got these shadows up here, just figuring out how you intend for these shadows to work. It looks like sunsets happening, just a few things there. And the perspective seems a little bit interesting, but it could probably just be because there's no shadow in this image right now on, the the character who's closest to you. So, and here, I really like this one. This one's really fun. I liked how you made that work. And you include these gaming elements, they feel like they are here to me. So really nice job working on the perspective there, cutting that out. It definitely works. Getting that shadow underneath if you don't already have. I'm not sure if you did or not. And don't be afraid to really like paint and draw on top of these different pieces and using your blending tools with that. Um, yeah, so like with concept art, you kind of use what you can in order to move ahead, is to get closer to a final product. Sometimes it's 3D, sometimes it's photo images, um sometimes you're just painting if you're just an extremely fast painter. And with this project, I really wanted to see how folks would be able to work with design principles, painting, and images and kind of put that together with their with their own intentions and their work. But these ones worked out really really well. This one feels really really nested. This one just needs a little bit more work to make it feel grounded. All right, Devin. I like the style that you have going here. So this is another one that's a little bit more difficult to critique just with the style that's happening. And it seems like you're pretty far away from the camera in this image, but the light source will still hit. So I see it's like red all over, but painting that intentional light source in would definitely make a pretty big difference. I don't know why. It might be like a value thing, but the the sun in is just a little bit I don't know, there's something about it, like maybe putting some mist around it, change the value to make it a little less saturated. It just pops up too much for me to feel like it's actually outside. It feels like it's almost inside the room. So playing with those values, adding other things on top would help. And like I don't know if these are just like I can't tell, like is this like a table or is this supposed to be the floor here? It just feels a little bit like your character is floating, but it's just so far away. It's kind of hard. It's kind of difficult. I don't know if your intention was to float. Maybe adding some type of bench or something like that would make a big difference as far as that goes. But it definitely feels very art-like. So if there was some other intention you had with it, obviously, but just for the sake of concepting, I think there are a few more little rules that you could follow just to make this image just be a little bit more clear in what your intention is. And this one is pretty well done. It feels a little bit flat to me, like it's almost like there's just too much. It feels like it's been too processed. And I like the psychedelic nature of it, but at the same time I want to be able to know, kind of just have a better idea of like where you want to go with this piece, like in more so like a video game sense. Okay, so like filters would definitely bring both of these up in terms of like cohesion, and just playing a little bit more with your lighting too would go a long way. Isabella and Devin, really, really awesome job. Or Devon, hopefully I'm not saying it wrong. Really, really awesome job with these pieces. Moving forward, clapping it up. All right, 11, 8, 11. Ooh, okay. Make sure that OBS is still recording, and it is. Hallelujah. It's gonna be a long one. Okay, so Jax or Jacquees, I'm not sure. Let me know if I'm saying it totally wrong. This piece is I like the style that you have going here. It's really cool. I don't know if you did any painting on it or not. I definitely feel like there were some image filters. Maybe it was already on the image. Big deal that I'd say is drop that shadow in there. Makes it feel, definitely more apart. With, hand-drawn images, sometimes it's really important to go in and cut things out yourself. And also, there are things that you can do to make the lines stand out a little bit. So, like, you could go into your settings and go to effects, and there's stroke, and you probably want to do that on your separate characters, get like a stroke around them, or just really just going back over them. And we're going to learn vectors would be really really good for this. Using an image trace or something like that would be good. I don't quite know. Oh, are these shadows? Are these shadows that are drawn in? It's just it's hard for me to tell sometimes. Like when you have like more sketchy drawings. So like these could be shadows that I'm not totally seeing because you just decide to draw them in instead of use any digital brushes to make it happen. So just having a little bit of a hard time. But style wise, looks really cool. Um, I like the style of your characters. A filter would be able to make this feel a little bit more cohesive. I'm not totally sure what this is. This kind of looks like it might be like a trash bag. So those are a few notes there, but I could see it being like a really cool like indie game if things were just executed to a little bit more detailed and high level. Like a lot of this, there's a lot of just a little bit too much distraction. Like if it was paint it would be okay, but because I know that it's hand-drawn image and it's it's popping off a little bit too much without like intention. I'm having a hard time with being able to read what's happening in this image. Character designs are really, really thoughtful though. Here I see that you have these shadows. Make sure these shadows are placed correctly. Right now it's just a little bit muddy, so the composition is off. Like I like the composition of your other piece, but this one is a little bit off, and it's hard for me to tell about the perspective. And a little bit has to do with just the rendering of the characters, and a lot of it would be saved with, once again, like a filter, and paying a lot more attention to stuff like these shadows, raising opacity or lowering the opacity on the shadows, and just trying to get like a cleaner cutout. So I don't know how you were cutting things out, but that might have made a kind of a big difference. So if you're going to go, this style, you have to make it as clean and crisp with your render as possible. Overall, though, really, really awesome. Good job. All right, Colin. Colin, I need some shadows down here for sure. And it looks like you got a little bit intentional with your light, and this was already there, but it does look like you got a little bit intentional, so that's cool. But make sure that is also on your character, and make sure that's also on, these other assets that are in the scene, and like drop those shadows in there. It's very important. Um, the composition is not bad, just because like it's kind of like where else would you be able to put them with the composition of the background already. um but what you did in this one, it definitely feels like a game. You could play with these glowy elements too, like, maybe like really centering the attention on that, making it real dark in these areas would definitely go a long way. Painting in those shadows would definitely go a long way here for sure. So I don't know why my paintbrush is not working, but yeah, definitely I would say painting the shadows on this image would take it up. I don't know why paintbrush is not working. I think it's just me needing to move forward. On this next one, the perspective is a little bit tough, so really nailing that perspective down would make a big difference. If it's not something that you're feeling super duper confident with, you could even take some of these flowers and just kind of plant them around your character's feet here to get that all the way right. I like the composition though that you have working here. That feels really, really good. And the ship looks pretty awesome too. Maybe adding a little bit more atmosphere with the paintbrush would go a long way too, and playing a little bit with this glow, like maybe darkening a lot of the photo and then having this glow just like really, really work. But it looks like you painted a little bit on this character if that wasn't there already. Then yeah, totally, 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 totally. I like the style. This one feels just a little bit more clean to me as far as your composition. This one just gets a little bit muddy to me. And yeah, those shadows are a big deal, so make sure you get those in there. Awesome job, Colin, and awesome job, Jax or Jacquees, Jax, one of the two. But really good job, you all. Okie dokie. Who are we on next? Oh, two more. Man, I should have put this one into a two-parter. All right, so looks like you used some filters, which is cool, Josh. Shadow, you can start doing shadows the new way. I feel like you're still doing it the drop shadow way, which is okay, but we do know some other ways. And when you do your filter, make sure your main character's in there too, and just make sure it's not too intense. Last thing is your perspective. So I'm honestly not totally sure what this object is here. So that could be due to a filter thing. Um, so definitely we should definitely try to work out our perspective here. Shadow would make your character feel a little bit more grounded as well. The staff piece is really awesome though. I like how you added that glow, maybe add into the character. Really just kind of deciding how your light is going to work in this scene would take it up a lot. It feels a little bit flat right now. And you decided to just sing characters, so kudos to you for that. This one feels a little bit better. It feels like your character is actually nested in this scene. Definitely need to make this character work with the lighting though, so definitely think about that. I like these gameplay assets. I like that you put some paint here under it, but it looks like the filter might have been just a little bit too heavy, and without having that attention to lighting, this character is just popping so hard. And so we have to get that lighting on the character to make that work the best it can work. Okay, Hannah, did I think this is your one of your second submissions on this. It looks like this is your. I'm not sure if this is your light source or what, but if it is, make sure we have that working around your character and whatnot. Painting those lights in is definitely needed. As far as composition goes, sometimes when you're set with this type of image, it's like you decide to straight up just go for, you know, evenness, and sometimes that really works well. But I think that for you, I feel like you could have gone a little bit more asymmetrical, but that's honestly more so just an opinion. But definitely playing up that lighting would be, you know, would be ideal here for you. Especially to just get this scene reading the best way that it possibly could. And I'm not totally sure if this is your light source or what, but if it is, I'm just gonna do some quick painting here. Quick, because we are going for a while and I am getting tired. So yeah, boom, and then dropping it, that, and then it seems like the saturation on this image was dropped a lot too. It could just be what you're going for, which is totally fine. But that's just something that I was kind of just noticing. Oh no, this went out the way. Oh, I was supposed to be like actually writing down grade numbers and I didn't. So now I'm gonna have to go back and do that. Got too lost in the sauce. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, just being really intentional with that lighting is just really important. It helps a lot to sell what's going on in your piece here. But your character does feel grounded with that shadow, which is definitely very useful and very helpful here. Um, and you do have all the elements asked for in this piece, which is also very useful and very helpful here. Next thing is up. This one is really cool too. I like the composition here a little bit more. It's kind of hard though because like it's sometimes you need to give a little bit of leading space. You need to know where the character is coming from, but because you're working with this image that was already kind of set up in this way, um, this character seems just like it's almost a little bit out of place, even though they are kind of working in the perspective the correct way. So like having a little bit more leading for this character would make this feel a lot more even. Okay, there's some way to do it. Maybe you just decide to extend this out here, paint it out here. um Image batch, like take this part of the image, kind of drop it over here. That would make your composition feel better, because it does feel like just a wee bit busy here. I do like how this character is coming out the water. um Now, if this was a separate image, I'm not totally sure if it was, but if it was a separate image, you could totally match the hue to this of the water, to the hue and the value to this water, by doing the clipping mask like we discussed. All right. Really awesome job, Hannah. Good job, Josh. Clapping it up for Hannah and Josh. Okay. All right, this one has 3 on there. Run these really quick. Some of these have 2 images on 1 page, so there's that as well. All right, cool. So shadows, we need them. Light, we need them. And then also focus on your perspective here. Who is this? This is Clark. So yeah, shadows. Your character is pretty small here. You're gonna have to make them a little bit bigger. And lighting for sure. Let's check out this other one. All right, we need shadows once again. And yeah, shadows for sure. I don't know what game this is, but this game looks awesome, whatever these characters are from. And a little bit of work on the perspective. It seems like they're floating because they don't have these shadows. And then you have to think about the perspective of what's happening. Sometimes with like really you know, dynamic poses, it's hard to see where the perspective is working. But as far as the composition is not bad to me. I actually kind of like the composition that you're working with here. Is nothing too overly crowded, but I need that intention of light, and I need those shadows in there to ground your character. Filter would go a long way. Definitely proportions. Proportions are better on this piece, but definitely, you know, working on the proportions of your character on this piece is very important. But nice job on this. Michael Michael Wynn, uh, Hoitum. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Really good job on this piece. I actually saw like what you put together for this. Don't be afraid to paint. I don't know if you painted this smoke in here or what. Don't be afraid to do that, and don't be afraid to like paint the light onto your character. But as far as composition wise, really good job. And just like in terms of like being able to select your photos. And here, I need that rim light around your character just because that's your main light source. So like really play that up. The red smoke is a nice touch. I don't know why, but these kind of take me out of it. I don't know if they just need to be darker. Like much, they probably just need to be a lot darker. I think they're just too bright here. Yeah, I think they're just a little bit too bright here for me. But it could also be from your light, but you got to paint that in there for it to be able to work out intentionally. These lines, everybody, these lines are not supposed to be here. I think it's just a thing because his, I think your image was a PDF, and then bringing it into Photoshop made it weird as well. But I really like the composition, and I like the color choice for these two pieces. When All right, Philip, I only got one submission from you, so you know, make sure you get that other submission in. And I like how you did the values for this. It works well. I think that this could be either blurred or you change the value of it. It's just it's popping out a little bit too much, and especially because you have this level of blur here, and then you have this silhouette here, and maybe this is meant to be the main focus, but the size works for what it is, but the size doesn't work as far as the composition. I'm having a really hard time, you know, as far as the composition that you have working here. It just seems like everything is kind of crammed together in this like L shape. um but I think that you could have made a little bit better composition choices just to make the visual interest work. And also, if you want things to like line up the best they could be, I would definitely give a second look at the perspective that you have going on here with this ship. Okay. uh, but I do like, you know, the coloring of the image, and I love the silhouettes. I like the character, how the character feels. It feels of this world. So nice job on that. But yeah, painting in, having that light source, all that stuff is important there. Okay, I think that I am at the end. Let me pop back over. Whew. I don't know if you all are, you know, as exhausted as me, but there are a lot of folks in this class, so I'm just talking to nothing. Here we go. Project One critique. I think that was the end of this week. This week was mainly for that, and then also just going over those things. If you have any questions for me, obviously reach out. I'm gonna run back through this. Everybody, really good job. You know, it's hard getting art critiques, and now you're gonna get critique from your peers. But just do your best. Be respectful. Give good feedback. You know, if you have some tutorials that can help people out, you know, all of that stuff makes everyone that much better. But yeah, really good job here, everybody. And I look forward to seeing improvements in the work. And yeah, for sure. And if you have any questions, obviously reach out, contact me. And until next time.